Hello, guys, and welcome in this podcast. I hope you are well. Today, we are going to talk about Romance language and linguistics in the English language. My name is Andrea Alarcón. Okay,
That's right. Okay, first of all, Andrea, thank you so much for being here with me. And yes, as you say before, today we're going to talk about Romance language. But um, apart of that, today our program has two special guests. And I'm going to let them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Joel Ortega. Thank you for your invitation to this podcast.
And me, Cristian Olarte. It's a pleasure to be here.
oh, it is a pleasure to have you here with us. Now, we will start talking a little bit about our topic and later on we will listening to our guest, okay? In the next program, we will try to understand the connection between Romance language and the English language.
Thank you so much. Now, let's go to the introduction of our topic. And for this, we will use different information from text and videos that we have made, and from the internet, of course, and also the opinion of our guests. So, first of all, let's start talking about the history of Roman language. Okay, at the fall of the Roman Empire, Germanic tribes took over northern Europe, and Latin gained a foothold in the south. Okay, over the years, the Latin spoken in these southern European countries evolved into what we know and that today we can call like as Romance language. And another date about this, another information about this is that this was from I think was 800 before Christ, if I'm good.
Oh yeah, your information is very interesting. And you say that my question is, can English be considered a Romance language?
No, actually not at all.
Now? Why now?
Okay, it's because it's not actually. Although English is full of Latin words, it's not there. I mean, even if because of that, it's not a Romance language. In accord, and in fact, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm getting so confused. What I want to say is that for many English speakers today, it's easier to learn Spanish, Portuguese, or French than Germans, than German people. I mean, just like to put an example. But don't worry about that. If you didn't understand, our guest will tell us I mean, a little bit more about this.
Oh yeah, you are right, that's why they're right here. Okay?
You guys are right, but first we have to start at the beginning. What are the Roman language? Roman language are all those languages that come from Latin. That is to say, they share a common base language. So that's a role they are very different from each other. They maintain a series of similarities that are given by the mother tongue, Latin. The Romance language are the most widely spoken language family in the world.
Yeah, you say perfect what is Romance language. Now I say English is a Romance language. Sorry, is a Romance language because English has a lot of words of the French and Spanish and other languages. But that's because some little mixes in languages. What is meaning this? English take a lot of words of other language and adapt his words or these words to his vocabulary and his lexic. Yeah.
And that's very interesting. Now, we don't we look at some words that English has taken from the other languages to check what our guest says and lead to the next topic, okay? Um, Words like sofa, cocktail, tank are some words we use in English which have the beginning in Spanish, or some others such as croissants, genre, ballet are from French. Well, okay.
Yes, as you just say, Latin is considered the origin of most of the languages. Languages such as Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian bring a direct evolution of Latin. For this reason, many words in these languages resemble or are similar in writing or speaking.
Okay, the first relationship between English and Romance language was born as a Germanic language, but this began to change when they began to take many words from French because France and England were at war for a long time, especially with the arrival of William the Conqueror. He was of Norman origin and brought French, and he established the French which official language in all Britannia or England, which now this country in our area.
Okay, Christian. And Island and England in the years 1066. Then the monarchy and England began to the speaking French for years and so they began to run war from the French because it was more sophisticated and English continues to take the war from Latin when talking about medical and scientific subjects.
Okay, well, now we want to ask our guests why English is not considered a Roman language? Why?
It is an interesting question. To answer this question, we have to know what is Romance language. The Romance language, also called Romance language, Latin language, or Neo-Latin language, are an Indo-European branch of language closely related to each other and that historically appeared as an evolution or equivalence of Vulgar Latin understood in its etymological sense of everyday speech of the vulgar or common of the people, and opposite to classical Latin standardized form that from a certain moment was a language learned as a second language and not as a mother tongue.
Okay, Chris. Exact, but remember that the language called Romance are the various linguistic or idiomatics and of course cultural derivation that were born from the use of the Latin language of the Roman one the Romanization of the various population or areas of the empire such as French, Gaul, Spain, Portuguese, Catalan, Italian, Romanian, English with less influence, which gave the linguistic and cultural basis of the various people who were born under the influence of the Roman over many centuries.
Thank you so much for this information. Now, let's return to the main question. Okay, so is English a Romance language or not?
This question has been off the lip of many people for a long time. English being a language whose roots are related to German, Norwegian, French, Spain, Russian, and Polish, is also the root in Latin, the official language of the Roman Empire that conquered Britannia as one of these colonies 3,500 years before our era. According to this, March 15, 2020, in the year 900, the Vikings arrived in the British Isles, and for about a century, the West Saxon dialect become the language of Great Britain, language that used the running alphabet of the Scandinavian language. For years later, the Christian missionary brought the alphabet from Ireland Latin.
Okay. To complete what my colleague said, it must also be said that the first to study the relationship of the English language with the other language was Jacob Grimm, who studied the mutation of words of Germanic origin. Similar words in several languages are called cognates. For example, in Spanish say ángel, in English say angel. In Spanish you say actor, in English you say actor. Another example is in Spanish the word cultura, in English culture, among others. But there are also false cognates, words that although they look alike their meaning is totally different. For example, pretending, that it means pretending not to pretend. A word that has its origin in Latin takes a different meaning in Spanish and English.
Okay, in conclusion, the English has a special relationships with the language saints. Being the world language, English a language to refresh itself. Morphs and changes over time from a linguistic point of view. This language is always looking for and adapting new words from all language, close relationships with all types of language, and especially the Romance language has been influenced by Spanish, from which French took its an alphabet, from which some words such as bacon, beef, madam, among, and the other words uh, come out for different reasons. English has been and will continue to relate with the Romance language for a long time. Okay, and
And that be all. Thank you so much to all of our guests. Thank you so much, Christian, Joe, and Andrea. It actually have been all. And well, I hope that the question has been solved. I know this is maybe a kind of difficult topic, but it's always really grateful talk about these kind of things, right? Talk about these kind of history things that we all should learn at least once in our life. So thank you so much. I hope you like it and have a good day.
oh, thanks to you. Okay, bye bye.